Hello everyone, welcome back to Where Swans Walk. Today, joining me and James. Unfortunately, it's just us two tonight, but we make do. So, we'll just get on straight into the game. So, James, what was your opinion from the game? Anything stand out or not stand out, or was it just dull?
It's a real come down from last week, if I'm being really honest. Whereas last week we started and really dominated the game against Watford, I thought we were bullied from the start, if I'm being honest. There was no real quality in our first half. I personally think Alan Sheehan set the team up incorrectly. Didn't really see a lot from and that was the same the week prior. I think Liam Cullen is going to struggle up front in the system that we're playing at the moment. Like I said, I really like Liam Cullen, but I don't think he's a lone nine. And I think you could see that he was really struggling with what we were trying to do in the first half. I think the main problem we had on Saturday was we were being bullied off the park as Hector Cipriano and Musa Sissoko, very physical midfielders. We have Franco, Yalkue, and Galbraith, who not the same across the board, but have very similar skill sets. And I think we just lacked that little bit of steel in the middle, which allowed them to sort of dominate us. One real moment of quality from Watford was the free kick. I mean, there's not really a lot you can do about them. I mean, there's no keeper in the world that's going to save those. But I just thought we had no response and we looked very, very blunt in the first half. I just felt like if that went on for the rest of the day, we probably wouldn't have scored. Big shout out to Lawrence Vigouroux as well. An outstanding save from him in the first half to keep us in it. There's that video the club's put out of him, and it reminds me of the old David Seaman where he tips it up and under the crossbar. Such a good save.
So I was just in that corner where all the singing chances. That's where I am, and by the way, fans, and seeing that save happen just there, it kind of happens slow motion in a way, if that makes sense. But credit where credit's due.
He's so dependable, isn't he? Like I said, he kept us in it there. Again, though, I think the main issue for the game Saturday is our lack of a centre forward. I think when Jan Potner came on, immediately we saw a bit of an uplift. Same with Zidane Anusa and Marko Stamenic. As soon as we had that bit of physicality and a little bit of an outlet, managed to go up the other end. Potnik scores a standard number 9 goal. And again, I think he's really staking a claim for a start now. But I think if we have to look at that game. As people say, the subs changed the game, but I think we kind of set up wrong from the beginning. So when we course corrected with those subs at the end, it made us look a little bit better.
Yeah, well, as you said, big talking points that creativity up front, especially with Potnik coming on second half, scoring the goal straight away. But I forgot what I was going to say. I was going to say a good point, but I forgot. Yeah, wrong from the start. As always in these sub games, it's been well with Swans for years. That sometimes we just start out wrong, second half come out stronger, but as always, little too late. And I think that was the case for Saturday. Simple as they left a little bit too late.
Yeah, and I think if you look at we're talking about creativity and the fact that we don't have a recognised 9 up front. I know Malik Yalkoue's people were saying he wasn't really stand out in the first half for us. I disagree. There was one ball he played. Cullen was running through the centre. Yalkoué picks the ball up behind him and tries to play like a little inside to out ball, and Cullen ran the wrong way. I think if you've got an out instinctual number 9, I think he reads what he's going to do with that ball. I don't know whether maybe there's a lack of communication, but I think an out and out 9 reads that situation better. And I think we go 1-on-1 with the keeper when we do that. So it's almost like Yalkoué was trying to do the right thing, but Culls up front probably isn't reading what he's trying to do. And again, that's through no fault of his own. I've always said he's not a lone 9. And again, I think maybe if you've got someone, I'm going to go back on this, like an Ollie McBurney maybe, who probably reads that situation a little bit different, who is an out and out 9, they probably go through on goal and that's a big chance or a goal. It's all ifs and buts, but I think the fact that the lack of a recognised 9 in that first half was a real detriment to us.
Yeah, I agree. If there was an out and out 9 or centre forward in that situation, a centre forward, that's natural to him to run that right line. But Cullen's not an out and out 9. He's just a number 10. He isn't used to those type of lines and running those type of lines, so he's not going to recognise he needs to be in this channel. And you say if that's a recognised number 9, well, he's going to go 1-on-1 with the keeper and he scores. But as you say, it's if, buts, and maybes. And unfortunately, the Swans, it's no absolutes. But yeah, I want to draw another little thing. I don't know if you've seen the stats for the game. I'm a bit of a stat man, so I've brought some stats this week to show off. It was quite even across the board, even though it didn't look it, and Watford bullied us, but it was quite even across the board. So possession we had 58% and Watford 42%. So sort of even more in our favour, but maybe that's not a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really surprised at that, to be honest. I think from my reading of it was that Watford came here to disrupt. They didn't come here to try and play football or play a pretty game. You could see by the team selection of Moussa Sissoko, Hector Cipriano in that midfield that they were just coming to be physical, break us up, stop us getting into a rhythm, and just trying to be as disruptive and horrible to play against as possible. So that doesn't really surprise me, if I'm being honest. Again, it worked. That first half, we couldn't get anything going, so I think their game plan did work quite well. A little bit envious of the fact they've got Hector Cipriano. I think he does his job fantastically well in that game and quietens everyone down. But yeah, it's not. Yeah, it wasn't a classic, was it? Like I said, I'm not really surprised that it was very close across the board in terms of stats as well.
No, after the game, I was going on my phone, I look on a sofa score because I'm stat heavy. I'm a nerd for stats, but I was quite shocked how even it was across the board. As you said, the Bullies, they had a certain game plan, they executed to perfection, but I didn't expect it to be that even. You know, Watford had 300 passes and Swans 412. So that was a bit of a shock to me. But who knows?
Yeah, I think with us, though, like I said, the possession that we did have, it was kind of in areas that weren't really going to hurt them. I think we kind of reverted the type a little bit, whereby we were holding on to the ball in sort of safe areas. And then obviously when we were trying to play through them or we were trying to get into attacking position, they were just all over us like a rash and we couldn't really get anything going. Again, it did change a little bit in the second half. This isn't so much a stats-wise thing, but I don't know if you saw Vital Swan's post about the average positioning, and we talk about not being able to create chances and the struggle and the striker struggles. It was interesting one where our midfield and our defence are very, very compact and close together. And then when you look at the two wingers and the striker, there is a massive gap between them and the midfield as well. It's absolutely huge. And I genuinely think if you put a 20-goal a season striker in there, even they're going to struggle to score goals. Because they haven't got the players around them to bounce off each other. It looks very, very isolated being up top for us at the moment.
Yeah. And with that, I didn't see Vital Swan's post, but I saw on SofaScore because they do an average positioning first and second half, and it was literally very flat in that midfield. And they said, isolated number 9, number 4 forward for us. But with that, as you said, if any centre forward comes in, even Mbappe comes in, he's going to struggle in that position. With the transfer window coming to a close, a week today, who can come in? Who would come in and hopefully score 20 goals in that position? Because not many players can do it. And in this instance, you say a centre forward in that position who can score 20 goals a season can't do a job in that position. Well, is that also a cause for concern for the midfield? Do we need a certain type of player in midfield, a holding midfielder? I think you mentioned that 2 weeks ago. We need a holding midfielder so Franco can push up and Galbraith can push up. Maybe even Cullen can push up as number 10 instead of number 9. So for me now, it's looking scary because it's going down the squad, not just the number 9. It's going down. It's going down. Is this a whole skeleton that we need that needs to be changed?
I think the addition of Marko Stamenic is probably, as time goes on, we allow him to bed, and I think that's going to solve one of the problems now. I mean, if we were going to play, say, like a 4-3-3, the back four picks itself, you could have, I would say, probably Franco and Stamenic playing as like a 6 and an 8, or 2 8s if you want to call it that, and then maybe have Galbraith further forward as a 10, because I really do think that Ethan's going to be better when you're pushing him further forward and putting him more attacking areas. He's got that quality final ball. He's got a moment of magic in him. I would then say Zidane and Nusa, one side of the striker, Ronaldo the other, and then whether it be VP or Cullen or whoever we bring in, I still think we do need another striker, but creativity is a big problem. Do we bring in someone else who can slot into the 10? Or do we bring in another winger? Because, again, still question marks over Ronaldo's output as well. I think that's hampering us. We've got no one on that right-hand side. So at the moment, we just got Ronaldo, who doesn't really put out massive numbers every season. So do we maybe need someone in there where if he's hitting a cold patch, or do we need someone that can compete with Galbraith at the 10?
Yeah, I agree. Last season, every time I watched Ronaldo, I was thinking I think he's a confidence player. When he's confident, he's fantastic. When he's low in confidence, he just doesn't know what to do. Even though he knows what to do, he kind of panics. So maybe bringing in another right-handed forward who can also play at that front forward position, so you can play both, maybe all across the board. That could work. But maybe having someone push Ronald in competition would think, well, I need to up my game, yeah? I could be benched.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. I think if he had someone and he knows, okay, if I'm not up to it this week, I could be dropped the next. I really do think that might help him find his best form, because let's be honest, since he's been here, there's not really been anyone to push him. And I think we've seen he can do it. I mean, we've seen the goals he scored against Sunderland last year. He's fantastic finish against Sheffield United. He's looked good at the start of this season. So there's absolutely no doubt that he can do it. It's like, how do we get that out of him on a consistent basis, which in the long term will be fantastic for us?
Yeah.
I know he comes in for a lot of unfair criticism from our fans. Can't fault his work rate, can't fault his physicality. Again, it's just finding that consistency in the final third for him. If we can find that, he'll easily put up double figures this season for us in terms of goals and assists.
Yeah, I agree. It's that end product that needs. It's just that final bit that needs polishing. It's just that confidence in that little bit, because he runs up and down. He doesn't stop all game. Every time I've seen him, he does not stop. He puts in the tackles. He puts in the work rate. Every time he loses the ball, he's frustrated. But it's just that when to cross the ball. He gets up just by the corner flag, and you get frustrated. Like, why ain't you calling? Why cut it back in?
Yeah, I mean, I watched him play a little 1-2 with Josh Key, and then Key plays the ball back to him. He starts trying to do step overs, but he's doing it like far too close to the man. So it's almost like, okay, it's almost like his feet are in action before his brain is. It's just like, again, getting him to calm it down a little bit, and again, just finding a way, how do we get the most consistent performance in him at the top end of the pitch? I still think there's more to come from him. I don't think we should be too harsh on him, but I think I really do think competition would really aid him in the long term. Whether that be someone comes in on loans, he's thinking, okay, right, I've got to really, really step up here, otherwise I'm going to lose my place to this guy. Or do we bring someone in permanently? Again, good for depth. And again, it's hopefully going to push him to sort of sharpen up at that end of the pitch.
Yeah, I agree. There's a lot of unfair criticism on him. Great player, and I think he gets too much criticism on him. Way too much. So I perfectly agree. Needs competition, needs to be pushed. So yeah. Well, we may as well just move on now. The game was pretty dull. Just not a classic game. Not a classic game at all. We're currently on 1 win, 1 draw, 1 loss, and sitting not pretty at 13th, which is very unlucky. But I was niggling in the back of my head that it could be more this season. Could be more. Just what we saw against Sheffield United. There's obviously something there, but it's obviously something missing. But it could be like this. Could be with the new owners, new ownership, different building plan. Could this be the starting season of 2 to 3 seasons down the line?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of sort of changes gone on both on and off the pitch. So I think this is very much, and again, Swans fans will be sick of this word. I know it's Rob Page's favourite, transition. It's a transitional season. We're transitioning from one terrible ownership to one who genuinely seems now to care about the club and is very proactive in what they're trying to do. You got a new manager, a new sporting director, a new COO there as well. So I think we are going to have to be patient. I think there is more to come from us. I will say that there is going to be that weight of expectation on Alan Sheehan and his staff to deliver this year. Already, they've had a lot more backing than the last 2 or 3 managers combined. Yeah. Again, that brings with it its own challenges. You've got to bed those players in. You've got to be patient with them. But again, I think there is an expectation now to improve on the previous season. So, if we're not finishing inside that top 10, I think we should be disappointed. I know we said last week we've got to judge it after the window closes. If let's say we get in the players that we want, then we should be aiming for top 10, for me personally. If we're saying that we're going to progress, it has to be top 10. That will be seen as a success. I think anything less than that then possibly could be viewed as a failure. Again, maybe I'm being harsh there, but as I said, with the investment that's been put in and the players that have come in here, again, you have to improve. There shouldn't be excuses in this season going on. We can't rely on the bad ownership thing anymore. We can't rely on, he hasn't been backed anymore. All that has been put in place. So now we should start to see results on the pitch. It's not going to come straight away, but we'll see. I said, I think we should be aiming for that top 10 though this year.
Yeah, I agree. Anything below 10th is, I wouldn't see deemed as a failure, because this is, Sheehan's first full season in charge. But on the other side, it will be a massive, massive step back, a disappointment, because he's had a full season, pre-season under his belt. So a full pre-season on his belt and plenty of time to embed his ideas in, and the players should know that now. Players who want to come in, that will just improve. But again, as you said, we should be pushing top 10. 100%.
I think a question I've got for you, though, and this is one I've caught a little bit heat with, but do you see what he's trying to do? Like, can you actually see what we're trying to do? Like, there's a analyst for Watford that said that on Saturday he felt Alan Sheehan was out of his depth and that we were very, very basic. It was all very, very basic stuff. That we tried to press teams one way. Again, it's all very fast football, trying to move the ball forward as quick as possible, and it can seem a little bit a million miles per hour. So for me, sometimes I'm struggling to see what we're doing. Whether that's going to change over time, I don't know, but it is a criticism I've had for a long time. I'm thinking we look very erratic. We were like it last season as well, especially Watford away was one where we were just needlessly giving the ball away, almost trying to force it on times. And then when we calm it down a little bit, we look a little bit better, but I still have question marks on whether disappointment works long term. And again, like I said, most people are perhaps that's agenda driven. I don't think it is. I think there are, if you look at it, there are a few little concerning elements there.
Yeah, I see what you're coming on. But that could be a hot take. I think it is a hot take, very hot take. I like Sheehan, but I do see what he's trying to do. I think he's not in his depth. I don't think he's out of his depth, to be honest. I think he's perfectly where he is, but I think he just gets it wrong. Get that one little bit wrong. You know, he wants to, as you say, when you go million miles an hour, just constantly pressing, million miles an hour, just run up pressing teams on the front foot, and then suddenly 2 minutes later, it's built up from the back and then building up the midfield, and then that quick burst going like that.
Mm-hmm.
I can see which one is it. I see both. And which one is it going to be? Which one would you prefer? I would prefer the latter. Build up from the back and a quick counter press.
I think that's what we're synonymous with. If you look back through the years of what brought us success, it is that being cute on the ball, trying to dominate games. Because let's face it, we cannot press 100 miles per hour through 90 minutes. There are going to be times in the game where you have to slow it down, dictate the tempo, just take the sting out of the game. And I don't think we do that very well at the moment. I think that's something that we need to bring into our game, because you're going to knack yourself out if you're just constantly trying to push a team to win the ball back all the time. And then if you're equally trying to go forward at every available opportunity, you're either going to get caught out, you're going to make a mistake. So I think there are times where you are going to have to try and dominate the game. We had 58% possession on the weekend. I'm not saying just have possession for possession's sake, but there will be times, just calm it down. Let's dictate that so that they're playing it the way we want to play. So I think my thing is, okay, we need to have a base tactic that he has, and then build on it from there. Because I think he is trying to change a little bit too much on time. So I think if he just goes with, okay, this is my base tactic, and then just build on it from there. Because I think, again, it does seem that it's a little bit caught between the two at the moment.
Yeah, it's hard to know which one it is at times, because it could be a little grey area at times. Which one? And I think he just needs to strip it all back and go, right, this is what it is, and it's situational awareness in the game. And you can manage that as much as you can. You can prepare that in training all week, but it comes down to the game, and it all goes out the window. It all goes out the window because they set up the bullies, and you don't know what to do. And many teams don't have a B or C or D, and you've got to have every single one. But as you said, you don't know what it is. We're only 3 games in, and it's already starting to show. But hopefully, he's seen for the whole 3 games where he needs to improve, and we can go from there. So, moving on then. With QPR's absolute thumping on the weekend of 7-1, was it? Or 7-0? 7-1.
7-1, yeah.
Yeah. So the question is, what's the biggest defeat you've seen as a Swans fan, either live, on TV, or whatever? Even if it's just one that wasn't a big thumping like QPR's, one that just stands out.
Easy one for me, that is Chelsea at home. Chelsea at home in the Premier League, 5-0 down at half-time. That game was absolutely horrendous. I just remember Lucas Fabianski walking off the pitch with his hands up like that, almost looking like he surrendered already. It was painful watch.
You're saying that, that's what I've got. That's what I've got as well. I even know at the start 11 down how strong it is for that time period, because it was like how strong you pretty much ever had. And when that happened, I couldn't believe it. But Chelsea was so strong that season. It was embarrassing. It was embarrassing.
It was one of those one and only times I've been at a match. I'm thinking every attack they're going to score from. It was just like, historically we tend to do well against Chelsea at home, and then they just absolutely blew us apart. And you're right, that starting 11 was probably nigh on perfect at what we could have put out at the time, and they just carved through us with every attack. It was great to watch from a neutral's perspective, but I just remember sitting in the stadium going, it's going to be 10-0 come the 90th minute.
It's going to be a long night. It's going to be a long night. But yeah, I had the exact same. It was, as you said, every attack felt like it was going to end up in a goal, no matter what. And Chelsea that season were just, they won the league. So, but, well, there's not much really else to say about that because,
no.
Well, think about it, that was 10 years ago. Just put it into perspective. Moving on to the away kit, then you've got the third kit on. I believe that's going to be next week's topic of discussion when everybody else is back. So the away kit, we talked about home kit last week. The away kit now. What is your blinding thoughts on it?
Easy one, that 11 out of 10 straight away. No notes, no sort of we could change this a little bit. Nah, it's absolutely stunning. It is amazing. It looks like it belongs on the runway in Milan, that one, doesn't it? You could literally walk down the catwalk and you wouldn't get any second looks. It's superb. It's probably again bias, probably the nicest away shirt in the championship, if I'm being honest. It's just so nice. It's just so smart.
I'd go further, bar the Premier League. I'd say top, Championship, League One, League Two, easily the best away kit. And who knows? You said it'd be on Milan Fashion Week. Modric is out there. He might be wearing it on the runway. Who knows?
You could drive the tails up out there for us. That'd be really nice.
Yeah, you can. But I agree. It's all three this year are just phenomenal. And I think I hit it home last week saying that the away shirt is one of those shirts that you can wear with a pair of jeans tucked in, or even a pair of suit trousers with a suit jacket, and it would not be out of place.
It's just amazing this year. Like I said, there's usually a lot of discourse around the Swans shirts because some people absolutely love them, hate them. This year, you're hard pressed to find someone, unless they're being really, really nitpicky, that finds an issue with them. But I just think whoever's designed those kits, give that person a pay rise, give them a slap on the back, give them a pay rise, because they've absolutely knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, I can't see getting them. I don't know where you're going, but how can you top that? How can you even top that? I thought when it was first rumoured coming out, my dad's mate had something to do with the club, and the academy had like a full kit and all that, and he said it was brown. I thought, that's interesting to be brown, a brown away kit, not different. But this burgundy maroon colour, it just is to die for. How many away kits have you seen of that? None. But
yeah, it's one of those ones that stands out to you. I think, we discussed off camera about ones over the years for like Premier League teams that stand out, and I think that's probably going to be one that people look back on and go, "Oh, that's absolutely perfect." I think we spoke about was it the Tottenham Racing Green one they had a couple of years ago. I think a lot of people still talk about that one. I just think it's just so unique, and you can probably count on one hand how many teams will choose a colour like that, probably across Europe this season. But phenomenal from us. And the badge as well, just can we keep that as our badge full time? I know that's probably going to cause another debate now, but let's keep it.
When we brought the retro badge back a few seasons ago, I thought, that's it, keep that. But I can see why they've gone back to this one. But that on the away kit and the third kit, it works perfect. You can't re-knock it. But I believe that's everything for this week. Any other thoughts you want to share on the...
One final one, which is a massive talking point. I'm probably going to upset a lot of Watford fans, but oh my God, I have never seen such an anti-football inside like Watford were. The time wasting and the antics. Yes. I think you talk about stats. I think if you looked at stats in that game, I think most of their starting 11 spent more time on the floor than they did on their feet. It was absolutely atrocious to watch.
I think I saw a stupid stat that I think it was 9 minutes out of time was some stupid like that, wasn't it? I couldn't.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
I think 7 minutes out of those 9, 2 Watford players spent on the floor, and it was ridiculous. Apparently, because I had to leave early. Unfortunately, I know it's a sin to leave early, but I had to go whiskey tasting. But it's bad when the players tell the physios not to come on. That's when you know it's bad.
Yeah. It was just so cynical. It was just, I hate it, right? I hate this antics in the game.
Yeah.
People call it the dark arts. Oh, it's great when it's going for you. But you pay money to be entertained, not to watch a guy who's on like £20,000 a week rolling around on the floor like he's just been shot by a sniper when he's literally leaping back to his feet seconds later. It's so frustrating. You're there to watch a game of football, not to watch play acting. I just think, personally, for me, it's got no place in the game. I can't stand it.
And it's getting worse and worse and worse at the Championship. It's you know, it plagued the league, Premier League for years. Even Europe, you see European sides doing it all the time. They even teach out in Spain in the academies that once you tackle, go down and roll on the floor. But it's horrific. But as you said, that's going to upset a lot of Watford fans, and I think we have. That'll be tasty back at Vicarage Road later in the season. but yeah, thank you all for listening, and we'll catch you next week on Where Swans Walk. Thank you, James.
Thanks, Reese.
Cheers, mate.